and gentlemen, boys and girls, today on the couch, we have Josh Schneider, Grunt Truck Tad, and Accüsed. We have, I wasn't expecting him to come today, but Brian Fritz, 13 Scars, Big Top, and the Accüsed. And of course, the founder and of the Accüsed. I was going to say frontman, but that was plain cooked. So the founder of the Accüsed,
I like it.
Tom Niemeyer.
Yeah.
And in the previous recording with Blaine and Alex, I said Niemeyer. So but it's Niemeyer, right?
Yes, it is.
Niemeyer.
Yes.
So I screwed up often, but ladies and gentlemen, Tom Niemeyer. All right. How you guys doing?
Very good. How are you, Dave?
I'm good. I enjoy this. And
apparently.
so, Josh, you've played with everybody.
Yep, everybody.
You played with the Accüsed, which we'll get into later.
Yep.
You were also, to my surprise, in Tad, which is one of my favorite bands. And Grunt Truck. What were some of your other ventures?
Well, the first thing I did was with you, remember?
Yes.
And that would
Indeed.
be Crisis.
Oh, God, that's a trick question.
16 years old.
Who's ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh was 16. I was actually 16 at the time as well.
Metal Meltdown 3.
Metal Meltdown 3. It has Josh's band Crisis.
Look at
This
that.
was on my old label Everrat, and now it's up on the P.I.G Records Bandcamp for anyone who wants to listen to it. And you can listen to these things for free. There is no charge. if you-
Coven's on here. Shock Treatment's on here.
Oh, shock tree.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, the whole history of Washington State.
There's Show and Tell. That
Show
was
and Tell, that's right.
That was his first band.
You were in Show and Tell?
Yeah, but I never played on the recording.
Dehumanizers. Look at that lineup on there.
Yeah.
That's an excellent
Crisis did the legendary parties.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Crisis parties. Yeah,
Crisis,
I know.
but it wasn't Crisis Party.
No,
but
it was not
we
Crisis
did.
Party.
Yeah, we rented every Elks Club, and it was always at Dehumanizers. We were always playing.
Yeah, no,
with
there
Dehumanizers.
was some great
Do
shows.
you remember
on
the
that.
Knights of Columbus on the Bothell Everett Highway?
Absolutely.
That was a big one.
Yes.
Cops always busted it. We had kegs. Oh, it was so great. You'd always get the back kitchen of these, you know, like you have to take all the tables, set them up in the front, in front of where the kitchen is in the hall, and then all the people are drinking in the back, you know, backstage in the kitchen. And then, I just like setting up the shows on the tables, you know, their little banquet tables. We did that at Washington Hall.
I was there.
Washington Hall is another great place. I always-
The tables broke. Yeah.
We played with the Gits at that show. That show was pretty
Yeah,
great.
the
Kids were great
Yeah.
too.
I think the Accüsed were on milk crates. That's something.
I think we
That's
ended
milk
up
crate stage.
something. Yeah, had to make do.
That was on, it was the fold out legs table.
And
And then one of the legs broke where my drum set was on, and I went sideways.
So it was a flying V of tables.
And you've never recovered. You're still sideways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm upside down, in fact.
Okay. And like I said, we weren't expecting Brian here today. We were eventually going to get 13 Scars on the show, but these two gentlemen
He's the
brought
only
him
living member.
Yeah.
the last living
We're
member.
not in prison.
The
13 scars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find a couple in the mental institutions, drug rehabs, and no,
We're not going to name any names.
Yeah.
no names.
No.
the
It could be me.
biggest thing I know about 13 Scars, whenever they finish playing, the club cuts them off and kicks them out. So
Yeah, that's why we had our happy to go back in and get paid.
all right, so Tommy,
Yes.
the original Accüsed was, I believe, John Dolan on vocals,
Sort of.
Chewie Batterman on bass,
Close. Yeah, close.
Dana, who I constantly make the mistake of calling him Carvey, but
Right.
he's Dana Collins
Right.
on drums.
Kinda, sort of.
So yeah, what happened before this lineup?
Okay,
That
well,
lineup?
actually, 1981. In 1981, Chewie Batterman, Chabon Batterman,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And Dana Collins and I formed the Accüsed
Okay.
in 1981. And Chewie was singing, actually. We were a three-piece. We had no bass player.
Chewie was singing.
Yeah, he sounded just like Cal from Discharge.
Wow, I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah, it sounded like Discharge. Really, and he always, not always, but he got to singing so much when we were rehearsing at the time. that he would carry around chloroseptic because he was fucking his throat up so bad. He would squirt chloroseptic, constantly be squirting chloroseptic on his throat, which numbs your throat, right? But he was just, little guy. I mean, he was tiny before he got his growth spurt and stuff. He was just a little tiny kid. And he sounded like Cal from Discharge. But the Y era, which is, if you know Discharge, it's like, that's really like super Cal, like, really
Right,
like
it's
super
early
Cal.
stuff.
Yeah. And this little guy sounded just like. So Chewie sang for about almost the first year, pretty much. And then
Was that doing shows at all?
we played our first show, with him singing and no bass player at Langley High.
Wow. So he was singing, or he wasn't playing bass, or he was doing both?
He was just singing, yeah.
Because I remember when he played bass, boy, that guy was electric. He was in the air,
Yeah, he
on the
hopped around a
floor. I mean, he was crazy.
Yeah,
So,
he was
a
awesome.
totally awesome performer.
Absolutely,
I loved it, you know. And in the early years of the Accused, I know Tommy and Blaine very well, but Chewie was the one I was actually closest with. And I was very sorry.
He was, he was my best friend from childhood. So we were tight too.
The recordings with him singing are on the archive tapes.
They are, yeah. I was just
they're
going to
out
say
there,
that
yeah,
first show that we did with him at the high school on Whidbey is.
Wow, I don't have any of those archive tapes. I'd like to talk to you about
We'll
those.
talk to you about releasing maybe
Big
the rest of that
records.
stuff. Yeah. So anyways, that went on for a little while, and then I sang for a minute when Chewie switched over to bass, and then we got John about a year and a half into it.
Okay,
So
so
he
about
joined-
1983 or
82-ish, late 82, early 83, John came on. Dana met him in Hawaii when Dana was on vacation in Hawaii.
Wow, he flew from Hawaii to join the band.
It turned out that
They were both on vacation.
No, when he met John was on his way to move to Vancouver, Washington, of all places, ironically enough.
What
which
a
is
poor
pretty-
choice.
Yeah, pretty close. But that's where his parents lived. And so he moved down there and then proceeded to change his plans and move up to Oak Harbor area or Skagit Valley area of Mount Vernon to start his first year of college, which happened to be the year I graduated. And so I said I would go to college in Mount Vernon then at that point, because I was going to go to community college somewhere, but wanted to get off the island because there was no community college. And so we stayed as close as we could to Oak Harbor because that's where Dana lived and that's where we practiced. And those guys were both still in high school. So we did that for about a year and a half once we got John.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to point out, because it's pretty rare, a college graduate playing rock and roll.
I didn't graduate.
Well, he didn't graduate,
No,
but at least he started.
I did a couple of years. Yeah, I did a
couple of years.
Yeah, I learned a few things.
Yes, unlike the rest of the musicians who usually do a couple of years in the joint.
You're
So.
right. Right.
All right,
So yeah, that was through about. What was the question? I
was going over the original lineup
Okay, right.
and getting to the
First
point
show
where
was-
John joined.
Okay, yeah, and then we did a bunch of shows with John. We toured up to Canada, played a show at the Day-Glo Abortions up there, and Subhumans, and Personality Crisis, which was awesome in Victoria. And then we went down to the West Coast with John, and we did a bunch of shows in San Francisco and Berkeley. And around that time, we were doing.
Okay, so you guys did do some tours, and and this is the lineup that was on the Accused Rejectors
Correct.
split.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, during that same time, we had befriended the Rejectors and hung out with them a lot. Actually, we went to Burien a lot and just kind of hung out and partied with those guys. And then they came up with the idea of doing a split record, a split album or whatever, and got us into the studio convinced us to save our money and get into the studio for the first time.
And who put that record out?
That was Malcolm Conover, the Fatal Erection Records guy,
Okay.
and from Eugene at the time, Eugene, Oregon. And
How did you guys connect with him?
through the Rejectors, they were just.
Oh, I see. They knew friends with
Do you
him.
know how many copies they pressed? 1,000 or 500?
I want to say over 500. It had to have been 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
Those records today go for about $400
Wow.
if you can find one.
Right. Wow. Crazy. Yeah. So that was the beginning of that, and that's how that.
And
went.
why did they go for that amount of money? Because it's good? Or because
Oh,
it's collectible?
Because it's
It's-
collectible.
Yeah.
It is good.
Is it music?
It's not amazing. It's not amazing. I mean, it's pretty straight hardcore. I mean, it's we tried to be as. Have you not heard any?
No, I know.
You know the songs.
I'm just trying to get everyone enthused about.
You got to put it.
That's why it's worth $400.
Yeah, you can't find them, and it was never repressed.
It's
Right?
that
Correct.
good.
Yeah.
It was
Correct.
good shit for
It's
1993.
that good.
We're going to
You
do
know?
the same, we're going to do the same thing. A lot of bands, we're going to re-record a bunch of those songs and reissue them, with John singing though, of course, but with the new lineup and stuff like that, revamp them. That's in the plans.
Now, when
Because
did
it's good material, but it wasn't, it was recorded on a total shoestring.
when did John? When did you
when did
guys
we part
and John
ways?
part? And
After
why?
late '84, something like that. Just musical differences. Same old story.
Okay.
Musical differences, really.
And now today, you have a very good relationship still
Oh, yeah.
with John.
Oh, yeah.
You guys kept that.
We kept in
Yeah, it was
touch
just an
to a
degree,
degree.
okay.
But lately, over the past few years, for sure, closer and closer. And so that's why we're back together again and working with him again.
So I believe Blaine Cook was his replacement.
Yes, he was.
And what year was that? That was say, late '84 or?
No, I don't think it was. Maybe it was late '84, but '85 to be safe. To be absolutely positive. But I don't know if it was any. It could have been '84. That was a big year, '84. If all this took place in 1 year, that's an amazing year.
Yeah, it was an amazing movie and an amazing book too.
Yeah,
1984,
right.
one fabulous book, and the
Right.
movie was incredible. So,
Right, yeah.
1984 is the year.
Yeah.
Okay, now when Blaine joined the band,
Mm-hmm.
he was under impression he was a full-fledged member with an equal share of everything the band got. Is that the case? And did you and he have any terms at the time he joined?
There wasn't any terms, no.
Full-fledged member, full-fledged meaning
Meaning, if there was 4 guys in the band, he was 25% of the band and got 25% of everything.
That's how everything worked in that band. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that is the case. Okay, and then
At that time, that's how everything worked in that band.
and now Chewie was replaced by Alex Sebald, and it's kind of a tragic story. Why was Chewie replaced?
That was basically personal issues outside of the band.
Band
Yeah.
and
But it was hard. That was a difficult period because he was my best friend.
yeah, and he
You know,
was,
Growing up, we did everything together and hung out together and were super tight. But just various things at that time were taking place that were interfering with the progress and productivity of the band.
with
So,
his personal life, you mean?
yeah,
He was having troubles.
yeah.
I
some
believe he had some substance abuse.
I'm
and
not
other
sure about.
things,
I'm
but,
not sure about any of that.
whatever he was during his time, I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
So-
and you guys were friends since California.
Yeah, we were childhood friends actually. Yeah, so that was a very difficult decision to do that, and plus he was my roommate at the time. So I mean, I made the call as I saw fit. It was the worst phone call I've ever probably had to make.
And you were living with him?
Yeah,
Well, and my guess is Chewie probably had an idea it was coming.
I don't know if he ever thought it would come to. Well, he was pretty out of it, so I don't know if he really knew what was
Knew
going
what
on.
was going
Yeah.
on, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't
It's
tell you.
one of the
But it was sad.
tragic
Yeah, for sure.
Washington State music stories.
Yeah,
So
but
then-
we were right in the middle of recording. At that point, we were in the middle of recording songs for More Fun, for the More Fun
And an open
than an Open Casket Funeral album, right? And so we had already had Chewie's bass tracks recorded, for that record, and Combat wanted the record now, that like we were behind schedule, so we needed a bass player like right away,
And that's when you guys got Alex.
Well, yeah, Blaine suggested he knew a guy, Alex, and we should try him out or whatever, and so we tried him out.
So Blaine brought Alex in.
Yeah, he was Blaine's friend. We didn't know him before that.
Okay. And Alex was also on the 25% of everything. Were there any no terms?
There wasn't any
Yeah.
terms, but we treated each member seemed to feel okay with what they were getting,
Okay.
at the time. But no, there weren't any kind of written
Terms or
anything.
anything.
No,
Prenuptial agreement?
no prenup.
Every band
Well,
was
it's
doing
like
that
a
in
punk
84
rock.
and
No
stuff.
bands at that level
They're-
are usually are talking to lawyers. They're
No,
still
I'm
trying to
not talking
figure out-
about lawyers. They're.
You know what I'm saying, though? Not necessarily talking to lawyers, but even talking to each other about percentages.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? It's like
You would have seemed trivial, and it wasn't very punk rock to discuss stuff like that.
Right, and and it's more. It didn't really back then. What I'm talking today, these guys do feel they have a claim to the name Accused AD, and they have the right, which we're going to go into later. And that's why I'm bringing out what happened in the early times. So now next comes along Josh Schneider, if I'm correct.
Cinder.
Yes. Josh Schneider. I do know. Yeah, Josh Schneider's another guy. And
One day at a time. I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I was on Dukes of Hazzard for a
No,
little
Josh
bit.
Schneider was another drummer, and he was absolutely insane.
Oh, that might have been me.
Yeah,
Maybe it
yeah.
was-
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh.
Not a good drummer, but insane.
Josh said
Definitely.
he was actually a pretty damn good drummer, but he was.
That couldn't have been me.
Let's speed up the pace.
Bam.
Yeah.
Let's speed up the pace.
So okay. So you replaced Dana, am I correct?
No.
No.
After Dana was Nick Utek.
Okay.
Nick Utek. Nick, I guess capital Uttech, maybe Utek, from Bellevue area.
Okay.
He came in and replaced Dana.
Yeah. Did he record on anything?
There's some live stuff in Europe that he's
Okay, but
on. Some
not-
board tapes that are pretty good.
Where did he come from?
He came from Bellevue.
But I mean, who dug him up?
He was a friend of Dolomites, I believe. Dolomite
really?
told us about him. Yeah.
Now there's somebody's name.
And who is Dolomite?
Greg Bernier, friend of the band, friend of ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe he said, "Yeah, I know this drummer, dude. He's a double kit guy." I was like,
Okay, so Nick
Cool.
replaced Dana.
Yeah.
Now, why was that?
That was definitely a musical differences thing. Dana was just kind of changing kind of how he was playing. His style was kind of changing a little bit. He was kind of veering off course from what we were kind of after as far as a drummer goes. It wasn't going to work really if he was going to continue doing that. And he was pretty focused on altering his kind of approach to drumming. Which was just musical differences again, that's all that was. Again, very difficult decision to make, knew the guy since 81.
I talk to him occasionally.
Yeah, great guy, man.
I
He's
talked to him about 2 months ago, and I do talk to Dana occasionally
Yeah.
as well.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a really nice
awesome
guy.
guy, yeah.
And he's down in California these days. So.
Great drummer too, man.
Yeah. So that was that, and then we got Nick the Hammer. They called him Nick the Hammer Utek, and that was more appropriate for what we were doing. That's when we got into the brutality and corruption era, tapping the vein kind of era.
Okay, so
the pre O-ring, and then Steve O-ring Nelson came in after Nick.
Oh, really? Oh, so, okay, I didn't realize Steve was in that early. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so Nick comes in.
Mhm.
We know why he replaced Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Nick leaves the band.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick basically did a lot of touring with the band.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
But
at
not
least
really
one
a lot
Europe
of
tour.
studio work.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then Steve comes in. So did Steve? Did Steve record on anything?
Yeah, he was on the Hymns for the Deranged
Okay.
stuff, and then some demo stuff at the same time. 89-ish,
Okay.
1989-ish.
And are we up to Josh yet? Or
Not
is he
yet. We're
still in
getting
the
there.
distance?
We're getting there. Yeah, but Steve Nelson, Steve O-ring Nelson was from March of Crimes. That was
Yeah,
his
a
original.
great band, and Steve I've seen perform many times. Pretty damn good drummer.
I loved his drumming. He was as far as being in pocket, almost in caliber, the same kind of caliber for me as a guitar player, as relaxing and comfortable, and as not predictable, but you just know kind of where he's going to be behind. You don't even have to look at him. He's always there. He's second to Josh, but he's right as far as the reliability is the word I'm looking for. Great drummer. He was from March of Crimes, which featured Ben Shepherd, now in sound or.
Yeah, I remember I used to, when I booked
Right,
at
so
the Gorilla
I just
Gardens,
wanna
I
get-
used to put March of Crimes on a lot
Right.
of shows.
I just want to get all the name dropping and family tree shit all connected up.
Right.
And
While
don't
we're
forget about
doing
your
this.
bass player, Marshall Krabs.
Bass player March. Oh well, and the new one, Andy Carroll. Yeah, we'll get to that. And so then comes Josh after O-ring.
Okay.
Correct.
Which
I learned the songs that were on Hymns in the Deranged, basically.
Okay.
But
And-
that was what I had. That's
Was that
That was the
1990?
latest
Are we doing a
release.
timeline thing?
But it doesn't have. No, I'm just
Okay.
trying to find and I gotta salute you on the signing of Josh because because you grabbed a professional drummer.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
he's been a professional drummer ever since.
Yeah. No, when he came down to the rehearsals, I'll act like he's not here right now. When he came down to the tryouts, we had a couple guys, I think, come in before him that day or the day before or whatever. And then this guy comes along, and I remember playing Slow Death with him. I go, what song do you want to play?
My
He said-
favorite
Yeah, he
song.
goes, I don't know, Slow Death. And I was like, really? I was thinking to myself, okay, we'll see what this fucking long-haired little shit has to do, can do about this. So go ahead, start it off. And it starts off with her. And he just fucking destroyed, it was fucking amazing. I mean, I tried to keep my cool about it because that was our whole deal. Blaine, Alex, and I were like, okay, now let's not let anybody know that they're in before we all talk about it or whatever. And so we were all kind of being, oh yeah, that was okay. We'll get back to you or whatever. And as he's packing out his drums, which was a lot of fucking drums because it was a double kick set, and a proper double kick set with all the shit that he played, all of it. And he's loading his shit out, final pieces, and I couldn't fucking wait. I just went out and said, dude, as far as I'm concerned, you're fucking in. Because
that is what he said.
You're probably a quote.
He said, as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal, but I got to go in and deal with these guys.
Yeah, I got to go talk to them.
And those guys were very impressed too, right?
They weren't so happy about the fact that I told him that he was in before talking to them. But I was like, and they told me that when I went back in, that you didn't tell him, did you? And I said, well, fuck yeah. Are we going to find another drummer that's like that? And I said, no fucking way. Not in this town. Not in this fucking coast. Not in this country. That's the guy. They're like, well, all right, whatever. So
getting in trouble.
I was getting in trouble for telling him,
It was funny.
And in the interview we had with Blaine and Alex, they were very complimentary of you. So,
well, I mean, I think I have a good relationship with those guys.
Good. And
I just ran into Alex at Fred Meyer's.
Okay. Now let's
get some chicken.
Getting some chicken. Who was getting the chicken?
I was.
Oh, okay, all right.
What was Alex getting?
Alex was in line. I don't know what he was getting, but I was. And then him and I said, "Oh, hey!" And he didn't recognize me. I had to pull my mask out. I guess I look so much better now that he just,
You're fighting like.
He was.
Oh yeah, you're gorgeous.
Yeah, he just said, "Wow," because I remember you being a lot uglier than that.
I don't know. The perm used to fit you.
No, I thought Alex says I know Tommy and Blaine quite well. I don't know Alex that well. I've interacted with him, but he has a dry sense of humor that's quite good. I kind of like it. So, okay, so you joined the Accused at this point, and
I saw, and I was in this band that I had started called Breakneck, and we hadn't put the full band together. It was me and a guitar player. And we were writing songs and got a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the songs that we had was like the first opening riff of Pounding Nails. I wrote that on the guitar, and we played that in Breakneck. And that was the best thing I had. And I brought that and asked these guys if they liked it. Tom was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So it fit my drum style because it has this double bass thing. And then that's kind of how I think that I blended in with the band. Is I actually had more. I wasn't just playing the drums. I could actually write songs too, and they let me have a couple riffs. I think I wrote a little guitar part on "Endless for Martha."
Yep.
And then that's it. But and then the names are on there if you wrote it in order on that album, I think. But so I called. It was the Rocket. Remember that magazine? Or
the Rocket. I definitely remember
the Rocket. Called, looking in the Rocket, and this band looking for a drummer. My friend who was into my best friend is Jeff Bennett. He was into Skinny Puppy and all this stuff that I didn't really like, and punk bands. I was more into metal. Like I was more into getting into what Metallica was doing, and so this was the Accused to me was like, well, wow, because they're doing all this cool guitar stuff. I can play drums, so I like that. I didn't quite get the vocals, but I mean, because I was young and dumb about it, but I liked it. It's crazy. And so I call, Blaine answers, and he's like, yeah. He goes, we're looking for someone who can play real double bass or something. And I said, oh, real drumming. He'll quote
They were
that.
looking for a professional.
He wanted,
I remember that.
He quotes that all the time. Yeah. And I said, oh, real drumming. Mm-hmm. And he said, okay. And so then whatever, we set the time up, and I came down and did it.
Did Blaine play drums himself back then?
Blaine, I don't know.
I believe he plays drums at the Accused AV practices sometimes.
Oh, I bet he does.
So, but he doesn't claim to be. But so, and just as a side note, my brother Infrared from the Dehumanizers, a very skilled drummer. He is also very, very fond of your drumming.
He is. I'm fond of his drumming.
Yeah. So I believe he's actually talked to Tommy about it many times about. Yeah, how great he thought you were. So
yeah, shit, that's cool because he's got. I think Infrared is. He's a legendary Seattle.
Yeah, good. I'm gonna hook you up with his solo CDs when you guys.
I have the 8x10 photo Dehumanizers because you did 4 separate photos of each band member as an 8x10. and his got this chrome Slingerland drum set that I always wanted. Where did you guys get all this money to get this chrome drum set? That's all I can
He's not gonna say.
No, I don't mind. The better question would be, where do we get the money to put out the Accüsed Return of Martha? Because that's a good story. But no, all of us had jobs and worked very hard and pumped all our money into punk rock.
You had
the same
jobs
as you
at
guys.
that point in time?
Yes.
No, he went up and I remember he had to go up and ask his dad about a couple questions when it came down to money and stuff. We would be waiting in the basement down there, and he'd be like, "Hang on, I gotta go talk." It was cute. He was just this kid that was like running the label.
So
I couldn't afford to buy a drum set until I didn't get a drum set until I was in TAD and finally was able to get an endorsement, and I got a free drum set. I used the same drum set on Granny Luck and Undertaker, and even the first TAD album is the same drum set because I couldn't afford to buy a fucking drum set and be in a band playing every night. So I'm asking you, where did you fucking get the money? What job paid for that drum set? That's an expensive drum set.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I asked him, where does Dana get this fucking
that sonar?
It's like a $5,000 drum kit, and there's this like $2 pump band, playing with this. He's got this guitar, it's like broken in half, and he's got this brand new drum. Do you know what I'm talking about? That drum set he has?
the sonar kit.
Now he must have. Dana makes good money today, and Dana did he have a good job?
Well, no, it was. I may be speaking out of line. I'm not sure, but his father was missing in action.
Oh, MIA.
Yeah, and I think it was Navy or something like that. And so I'm not sure, but I think maybe they were I think they take care of the wives or whatever of these people. I think, and possibly that was.
So the Navy bought his drum set.
Maybe I'm not 100% on that, but I think. I mean, his mom didn't work,
That's the most expensive drum set you can buy. Sonar.
Really? Okay, I don't know.
It's not
that
like just
about
a nice drum set. It's like so expensive that and it's like the super top of line special black hardware.
Yes, it was.
At that time, nobody had that kind of thing. It was just like it made you guys look great on stage.
It did. It was a facade. It was a very.
And it sounds good on that album. Maddest Stories, the drum sound.
And he had matching flight cases for all of it.
Was he just laughing about that?
He kind of just, that's what he was going to get. Yeah, I'm getting the sonar. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, it was just very matter of fact. Yeah.
I was pretty jealous about it.
When Josh joined the band, because I went to school with Josh, we knew each other from young, and everybody knew Josh was a great drummer, and then the Accused, and it was two different camps, like you say, you were metal.
Yeah.
And it was
let's slow down here. He wasn't just metal, he was pop metal, spandex wearing metal. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say
Tommy didn't know this.
Crisis was kind of pop metal, wasn't it?
They were great. I like pop metal, so I thought they were great. Obviously, I put them on the record.
I certainly wouldn't have called it pop metal myself. I wouldn't have worn that big T-shirt. I'm in a pop metal band, maybe K-pop, but I don't know. I thought I was pretty hardcore metal.
It was that progressive metal that still had that hard beats and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about punk though, and so when I went and joined these guys, it was like I just knew it was a good band that they were tight, because I was definitely into wanting to be tight. I was really interested. I practiced so much, and I just felt like I can do something with this, and if I just keep practicing. And then these guys were like, I finally found some people that I was like.
Yeah, the work ethic was.
Like I was right up with Tom,
Yeah.
playing double bass, and I was like, okay, I'm here. And then he's going, oh, you're right there. Not everybody's just getting up there with me, and so it was great. It was like, oh,
yeah. If there's anything you can compare the prior music or recordings to from when Josh gets in, and I hear this a lot from people that talk about the record, is it's so tight. It just got really super.
It's
tight.
because of him and I have this thing, and it took me years later to figure it out. But now that him and I, when we write stuff and play together, it's the physical thing that happens that it's like, there isn't, I've played with a lot of people, and it's like, it just locks with me.
It's locked in.
There's some sort of like, astral shit happening when him and I play. And that's why that record sounds so good. It's definitely because of his right hand. It's like Alex, he tries to do the same Accüsed songs. It just doesn't sound the same to me. It's just missing the right hand. The left hand's great, but the right hand's just the most important thing.
we've been singing the praises of Josh's drumming, but Tommy is a phenomenal guitar player.
Oh, man.
Why you comment on his? He is an awesome guitar player and an awesome
He is
performer.
fucking incredible.
Thanks, man.
I think you said it. All there is to say.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot
I
of
remember.
words that
I
can
watched.
explain it.
Well, I remember him as a young, and he was slightly older than me, but as very young, he was fantastic. Even when he was,
Yeah.
in those early
Yeah.
days. And today, obviously, he's phenomenal.
He can still do it. Don't think he can't.
Oh, he can do it a lot better. I think
Even
today.
better, that's
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Top of my game.
I watched the Accused for years, and fucking they're great. And it wasn't until I got in the room with you, when we were jamming with us three, and I was this far apart from him, and he's showing me a part, and I'm watching. I saw that right hand, and I saw these guys play so fucking hard and so effortlessly. Though that was what I'm tripping on Josh up there, flailing these things, and he's just effortlessly. And Tom does the same way, but then you look, he's playing hard like James Hetfield, fucking hard.
Yeah, that's what I would compare it to James Hetfield. The right hand of James Hetfield is the only person that I think has got like that
Pretty
same.
vicious.
I've even read that in old reviews. Tom was compared to James Hetfield.
Yeah, I did a couple times.
And the stage performance, basically from all the guys, they're playing their skill, but they're also their stage performance.
Flying in the air.
Yeah, it
it's
reminds me of Zeke came out later, and they also have a sensational stage performance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they
Fun to
did
watch.
at that one point.
that's
Kind of the same thing as the Accused.
Yeah, no,
This
they were-
period with people. That's the best period.
I hadn't seen
you
another
gotta move around.
local band moving like that, other than the Accused, and then until Zeke came around and.
But they don't move.
No, you gotta have just two guys moving. As long as
Yeah.
there's two guys moving.
Yeah, on each side of the stage.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, everybody, because somebody needs to keep.
Well,
it
your
down.
singer has to be moving,
Yeah,
and you've
and
got
either
to
the
have.
bass player or the guitar player needs to be hopping around.
They have
But
to
not
be
both. You don't have to
playing
have both
off.
because
Yeah.
it's almost like a circus.
Yeah,
But
but
that's,
just
you know,
popping
yeah,
around
yeah,
like popcorn.
yeah.
Accused was next level though, because you see these pictures now from back in the day, and all four of you guys, even the drummer,
Right,
That's like,
Yeah, that's a little.
planning
That's
that.
points off. We at the end of the
No,
show we started deducting point.
Yeah.
You get less money for if you synchronize hopping at this point.
But
So
you-
then let's bring this up. Here's a good
Yeah.
question. Who is one of the first people that started this jumping? Because that was
Pete Townsend.
Was it?
Pete
I was
Townsend.
gonna say,
Pete
Yeah,
Townsend.
but he's a child molester.
Well,
Okay.
I
No, he got-
well,
Well,
we're not going into it.
yeah, see, of course.
don't-
Not while he's on
Redaction.
stage.
Yeah.
Not while he's on stage.
And I was always a fan of the Who, but I liked Keith Moon and John Entwistle. I didn't like Daughtry or Townsend.
Were there other hardcore bands that did the jumping?
Well,
'Cause
Henry
Accused
Rollins.
really wasn't
DOA,
that-
Randy Rampage, DOA.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Henry did some jumping. Henry Rollins.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a guitar, so it doesn't.
No, it makes it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're talking.
Yeah, we're- yeah,
guitar players.
yeah.
I'm not trying to say that the Accused was the first one to do this jumping, but I do say that it was real prominent in the photos
Yeah.
of the jumping.
No, they're all airborne.
with the guitar. Well, Eddie Van Halen,
I think
Really?
Yeah, I guess he jumped. He did the.
because Bad Brains were a jumping band, but not Dr. No.
Oh,
Not the
Brains.
guitar player.
right.
I
I'm trying to remember who Chewie was like.
Was RKO
inspired
did some
by.
jumping, right?
They did, yeah, but that was.
But that was mostly the
after.
drugs, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I think it was. I want to say Randy Rampage was the one that got Chewie all psyched on that.
So Chewie was the one pushing. We got to jump.
Oh no, he just did it. He couldn't
I see.
stop. Yeah, you see old videos
Yeah.
from '83, and he's.
Chewie
And so you guys just started doing it. Everyone just started doing it because it was going on.
It just that's what. Yeah, you just certain parts that.
Chewie
you
was
just have to
hopping.
do it. Yeah.
Chewie was hopping off amplifiers. Chewie was
Yeah.
hopping off anything he could get on, and
Yeah.
he would go on. He would hop into the audience.
Yeah.
I would say it was
That's a
one of
good
my
reason.
favorite things about the band was the jumping. Honestly, I when we remember we did that big thing at down in Ballard for Hard and Heavy. They filmed it, but they
Oh
never
yeah,
put it out.
yeah.
And we were
yeah.
doing like fake jumping because
Yeah, because there was no crowd, right?
There was no crowd and there was no
Right.
we didn't have to play. So they're like jump, and we're like, I'm jumping on the drum set. in the back.
right. It looked like a
Oh,
circus.
okay.
It was circus. It was
These
a
were
little
setup
circusy.
photos.
Yeah, those were staged. Yeah.
And Blaine was usually up 4 or 5 feet. The only one
Oh, yeah.
jumping
Yeah.
was the drummer.
Right. No, Blaine caught lots and lots of air back in the day.
Yes, yeah, and surprisingly,
Yeah.
he still catches air, and which is okay.
Good.
So
How much air can he get? You got that
you
little
can get as
extra
much
weight
as you
on
want.
there.
It's still free. So.
Yeah. So far.
Okay, so you joined the band, okay,
1990.
1990-ish, and did at this point, do you think you have ownership interest in the band, or you just?
No, at that point, I think that it wasn't as those guys had been. They're a band. They were an established band, so they came to me. Blaine basically said, "We're going to give you 19%." And Neil Sussman,
he gave you a number.
Yeah, and I had a contract.
Where did you come up with 19%? That's what I did not know this.
Yeah, he said you get 19%, and I had a little contract with him.
Yeah,
and you brought up my attorney, Neil Sussman.
Neil Sussman wrote that. Hi, Neil, and it was not, and then 19% cut.
Weird. I never knew you.
Yeah, I didn't get an equal cut. That's why when I joined TAD, I asked them for 25% up front. Well, I just thought it was fair because at that point I was established.
And once again, as these guys pointed out, punk rockers don't get into that stuff.
By this time we weren't punk rockers. By this time,
you were a professional touring band. Yeah,
over 20. We've been on some tours. The albums are coming out. We're learning about publishing. We're learning about these things or whatever. We still don't know anything about it. But
we're starting to realize that music and entertainment is a business.
It has. In order to keep going, you have to look at it that way.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to make money, but you do have to look at it as a business, and you got to break even at the very least, or you're done.
Unless you have
just can't
pockets.
Keep pumping money and going to work if you want to go on tour. So okay. So now we come to the trademark.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to bring the trademark you sent us, up on screen.
I gotta get it out of the car.
Oh no, we have the image you sent us. We'll just load that up, called editing.
Okay. All right. Good.
Okay.
Magic of editing.
It's gonna be right here, Josh. You gotta.
Yeah.
So when did you start the trademark process, or when did?
When was the first time? 2006.
I think it was 2000. Okay,
2005. So I think I got it in 2007.
Okay, all right. So
it took like 2 years to mature, or for the process to take place and to be approved.
Okay, so this trademark that we're bringing up on screen is 2019.
Okay, yeah.
Is it like an annual renewal, or is it just an updated?
The first one I didn't file timely enough on the 7-year mark, I believe it is.
Okay.
There's certain paperwork that you're supposed to file after, or maybe it's 4 years, 4 or 7. You're supposed to file certain paperwork at that time with the patent office and patent and trademark office in DC, and I failed to do that on the first one, and so it went dead. It died or whatever, and I didn't realize that for a while. That it kind of wasn't, it wasn't active.
Complete?
Wasn't active, yeah. It wasn't live. So then I just reapplied.
Okay.
Yeah, when I realized that.
That's why it's got a later date on it.
Yeah, and it came back quicker to me too because I was the first guy who did it first time. The first one took a little longer because they were researching it, making sure I was who I said I was, and one of the questions is, when did you first use this name, the band name, in the act of commerce? And that, it wants a date and a specific thing that you did and I said I just used 1983.
Because that's when your first
the first actual album came out.
Oh,
I could have said 1981, because we got paid $5.
So you went off the Accüsed rejector.
Yeah, I just used that as a general, So I said, and that was, then I had a copy of the album that I was able to scan and show them, and the inside label and everything said 83 and my name on it and all that stuff. So I was able to prove that I was who I said I was, and that I was first to use it in commerce, essentially, that was applying for a trademark. So they do all that stuff and go through all the research and verify that all that you're put on your form is true. And then it gets approved at that point.
Okay. Now, what year was the GBH tour where you got injured?
87, and I didn't get injured, David. I was going to correct you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I was sick. I caught something like a virus of some sort. I had a 104 temperature. I was covered in spots. It was the doctor didn't know. It said it looked like malaria.
Oh, it sounds like syphilis.
Yeah, it could have been syphilis. I was doing more drinking than I was fucking on that tour, but. It was really bad, and I was really, really sick, and so I had to be flown home.
Did you ever find out
it wasn't syphilis?
I don't believe it was syphilis.
No. Was it malaria? Did you ever find out what it was?
I did not. Okay. No, they gave me some kind of antibiotics and stuff when I got to Seattle, and it was just, it ran its course.
Okay. And so,
But there was 6 shows left on that tour. On
and
the East Coast.
they continued that with
Yeah.
your permission, and
Well,
Who played guitar?
the GBH guy.
They
Oh,
switched.
Jocko?
I think they
Yeah,
switched
with the
around.
Jocko.
They had like musical chairs and played a bunch of.
Yeah, I think there was, but it was.
They played a bunch of punk rock songs. They didn't do the Accused set that I was
Oh.
playing. They didn't
Oh.
play those songs.
They did covers and stuff.
Yeah.
With Jocko.
Yeah,
Cool.
like
and I
indie
believe
pop songs. and stuff.
somebody I think it was the drummer of or somebody got injured in GBH
Yeah.
too. So it wasn't
Ross
the drummer
did.
because
Ross
Alex then started playing with GBH.
Yeah, the bass player Ross, he tripped over a chain that was in a dark parking lot. They were running through a parking lot like a bunch of children, and one night, which was what we all did.
They were on the lam.
Yeah, we were running around, and he didn't see this chain across these 2 posts in this parking lot. One of those don't bring your car into this parking lot
Yeah.
chain, and he fucking
Tumbled over it.
yeah hard and broke his elbow or something. I
Ooh.
think. Yeah, and so Alex filled in for Ross in GBH for several shows, which was kind of exciting to see, our guy up there with our heroes GBH. That was really cool.
Oh, GBH.
He did a great job.
Such a great.
Not that Ross isn't a great bass player, of course, he's the bass player, but it was cool.
Okay, so obviously they had your permission for all that.
Yeah.
Now,
Had no choice. Really.
next comes up a European tour as the Accused,
Mhm.
which you were aware of ahead of time.
No. Well, I mean, that wasn't the next thing that happened.
Well, so the next, so
I mean, there was a lot of tours and stuff in between that.
okay, so
Wait a
then,
minute. But you don't. Well, you said something. You don't have to give them permission to do that, do you?
What,
You
to
said
keep
you-
going on the tour?
Right.
No, the tour
It
was
just
booked.
unspoken that.
No,
that
no,
they were
I'm
gonna
not-
do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they could have said, okay, Tom's gone.
But would you have said, "I don't want you guys to do this," or even consider?
No, I wouldn't have said, don't play. No, don't go on without
Because you're not thinking the band is your band.
No.
Even like right now, you're not saying it's just this is a matter of.
Right.
Okay.
okay,
That's
so
all. I'm just clear.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
so between GBH,
Uh-huh.
the ending of that tour,
Mm-hmm.
and when Blaine and Alex toured Europe,
Mm-hmm. Without me?
yeah, what
Oh,
happened?
Jesus, there was a lot.
That's a 5-year period.
Yeah, it's 5
That's a
years.
5-year period.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
a
so
lot of shit.
you were still in the band. All of you guys were still in the band together, or did
Yeah.
Alex or Blaine depart, or anybody?
No, it was
No.
all, I mean, we got Devin. Devin came in on drums after Josh, and we recorded the Splatter Rock album for Nasty Mix, which was 1993.
Okay, so
1993.
another 5 years went,
Yeah.
and then comes a European tour under the name Accused, and Blaine and Alex and 2 other guys were on that. Why were you not on that tour, and were you aware of that tour?
I don't recall the tour being pending. Like, we're going to go on tour. I remember there being talk of a European tour at that time, but I had been practicing and maybe even performing in Grunt Truck for maybe a year prior to that, often the same night as the Accused practice. So I would do Accused practice, pack up my shit, and go do Grunt Truck practice all night, and 3 or 4 times a week. And it was just getting, the time was pretty much done for. I think we were recording the Splatter Rock album up at Music Source, or mixing it at Music Source or something like that. And it was just obvious to me that it had run its course. Nasty Mix had gotten bought out by Ichiban Records, which was a primarily jazz label. And we had a meeting with those new people at Ichiban, and at least I could tell that they really didn't know what to do with the Accused or want to deal with the Accused.
Yeah, you guys were punk rock.
Yeah, they really didn't. They weren't excited about it. They were not enthused about it, and I was like, yikes, because we had, it was hard enough for us to get the Nasty Mix deal, at back then. So now to be kind of tossed over like a bastard stepchild to Ichiban, who doesn't really want you, I was like, this is gross. This almost feels like we're just, existing. Now, I mean, I don't think we should seek something else or whatever.
Well, there was I will say that in the meetings that we went to when Grinning came out, when they had Glenn Boyd and
Oh, you mean Nasty Mix meeting?
yeah, Nasty Mix meetings where Glenn Boyd and they had this girl that one.
Yeah, the hot, like flirty one.
Yeah, the secretary.
That wasn't Ed.
No, she was. There was like 3 people or 4 people who were They were in, like, especially mostly.
Oh,
Glenn
you mean
Boyd.
Sandy Gardner?
Maybe.
Okay.
Glenn Boyd was a really good
But
guy.
there were meetings and they knew what to do. They were talking about what magazines we're going to
Yeah, marketing campaigns and things like that.
that were all like totally. They knew what to do with the band. That first album, they knew.
Yeah,
And
was
then
that-
when they sold
was that
P.I.G
month-
gone, it's like they didn't have those meetings or whatever.
Right.
I wasn't there, but
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Well, Glenn Boyd is he's the resident Seattle rap expert.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Him and a guy named Novocaine 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
That these two guys know everything about rap. And Nasty Mix, for those who don't know, it was a small label that signed Sir Mix-a-Lot and brought Sir Mix-a-Lot out, and that's
he actually was hit. It was his label.
Yeah, he.
Oh, it was,
Yeah,
okay.
he part owned.
I thought it was
Ed Locke.
with Ed Locke.
and Nasty. I think Nasty Ness was involved originally.
Yeah, he
Ness
was.
Rodriguez.
Nasty Ness
Yeah.
was a Seattle DJ.
Yeah. So those guys all kind of. Yeah. that
And
was the new
it was kind of shocking to all of us in the scene that the Accused signed to this rap label.
We were so.
Oh, you should have seen the parties at the label parties.
Yeah.
It would just be like it just looked like
Cocaine guns and drive-bys.
We were sticking out like a sore thumb in our little table. Let's just say it that.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
Oh well.
hilarious.
What's the the music channel?
Bomb Shelter TV.
No, the black one.
BET.
Yeah, they were there. Filming and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, they were there at some of these parties, these dinner parties and stuff that we had at like a Space Needle and shit,
Sounds fun.
Everybody's all blinging and stuff,
Yeah.
and we come in with our jeans and stuff. And
All these hoopties going around. They're pulling up. Boom,
Yeah,
boom, and
yeah.
we're just like.
and the BET people did try to interview us one time.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was stoked. Well, because Def Jam was doing what they were doing, with like
Yeah.
Rap and metal.
right. They were doing rap and metal. So,
And that's what I do. I do rap metal.
yeah, it was a
and
natural
pop.
progression. So
So
And
it's
as the fan, you get the promo shot. It had the extra guy in the photo.
oh
Yeah.
Holding the gun.
yeah, Donald
The
Brown.
cookie.
Yeah.
Donald Brown.
Yeah.
That's Blaine's friend.
Mr. Stubbs, yeah.
He's still around.
Yeah, I saw him up at Bent Bike not too long ago, a couple years ago.
And Down and Out, the song. It's like, are they doing a rap song?
Oh, Peacetime Clock, yeah. Mhm.
But you guys, it fit. It was a fit.
Where did you find those guys? The Mad Poet and the other guy?
When I worked at Easy Street,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they came in selling their demo tape cassette.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Easy
this is-
Street is a famous, it actually started in Bellevue, I believe, but it's
Yeah.
a famous Seattle record company now located in West Seattle.
Yep.
Record store.
that survived all the onslaught of all the various musical,
Yeah.
things. They're still a record store and they're still killer.
With physical product inside of it.
Vinyl records.
And what isn't there
The
something
best.
going on there Sunday?
In fact, next Sunday is the Grunt Truck record release party for the
Right.
reissue of the Push LP.
which
the double
is
12.
a 1,500 copy limited edition.
I think it's 25.
25, okay. And that's on Rhino, right?
Rhino Universal.
Rhino Records.
Mhm.
We were
That's
gonna-
weird because that's who they're talking to. Tad is re-releasing Inhaler, and they're talking to Rhino.
There's a guy at Rhino that likes
He's
certain
going around
kinds of shit.
sweeping up stuff.
Yeah, he likes good, shit from that era. Yeah, so he's snapping it up.
They're talking about advances and stuff. They're like, we need your address.
You're gonna get a fucking car, dude.
I want a car. I mean,
So
they're talking
Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, you bet. Blink, 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 blink.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we
Okay.
veered off.
Yeah, and as long as we veered off, I
Yeah.
want to stay on Grunt Truck for a minute because
Okay.
I had the questions later, but we
Mhm.
kind of touched on them.
Yep.
So you Grunt Truck 1986, did you say?
Or 89.
89.
That's about
okay.
when I first, hooked up with those guys. Yeah, Scott and Ben.
89.
Scott McCollum and Ben. Yeah, Scott lived down in the basement of his house I lived at.
For those unfamiliar with Grunt Truck, just go to YouTube and Google Grunt Truck and watch some of these spectacular videos. Okay,
pretty good.
now
They're spectacular.
Yeah.
they're phenomenal. I mean, you would agree.
Yeah,
those
they're-
videos are pretty damn
Yeah, pretty
good.
cool. Yeah, the Tribe one we're not so happy with. Tribe is kind of weird.
But didn't that one get on Beavis and Butthead?
No, the Crazy Love did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Derek-
Crazy Love
Yeah.
got on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, that was
That's
killer.
probably the highlight of your life.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was
Tombstone.
sitting at my girlfriend's house, and there we were on MTV.
Beavis and Butthead.
We had no idea we were going to be on there.
We
Oh, okay. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that show.
I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I was looking at the TV. I'm like,
Okay.
holy fuck. And they liked it. They were like, I was like, oh, thank God.
And they're like,
Fuck,
Because they
thank
really
God.
rip
I was-
on people
Yeah,
sometimes.
because you got to wait like 30 seconds in before they decide if they like it or not. And I was like, oh, thank you.
So at some point in time,
Yeah,
you guys there was a fallout between
yeah, right.
Alex and you and Blaine and you.
Yeah, and I just,
But before we get there,
Yeah.
Now, Josh was in Grunt Truck, and so was Alex.
briefly, yeah.
When were they in it?
Boy, that timeline,
Josh,
I
do you
don't
remember
recall.
when you were
I
in
can
Grunt
tell
Truck?
you.
yeah,
Alex, after I left the Accused, I joined TAD not too far after, 6 months maybe later. And then I started going and doing all this tour circuit and stuff. And Tom was in Grunt Truck. So I was running into Tom in LA and different states. And different countries all the time with him doing it. It would be always like, hey,
yeah, passing by. Hey,
like conventions in
Right.
LA and stuff. And everyone's just having a good time. And what was the question?
And when did you?
I'm just wondering
Because I like talking about the fun stuff.
I'm wondering when you and Alex both became members.
Oh, Alex was before me.
So Alex was before you.
Yeah, I remember he got in there, and I was still in TAD, and Alex was in Grunt Truck. Because I was trying to get us to do some shows, TAD and Grunt Truck, maybe even a tour, but it just wasn't to be. And then I, after I left TAD around 96 or 7, we did some Accused stuff. I came down to Crown Studios, which Alex was managing and running this rehearsal place down in West Seattle, and I said, hey, blah blah blah, and
Is that when we played Linwood?
no, we played Linwood, and then we played the Rock Candy. We played
Yeah,
the
that's
Riviera
right.
and the Rock Candy, and Lori LeFevre booked these shows for us.
Two good old clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just packed, and that was that's the show that the famous pictures of my brother was taken on stage.
Singing Corpse Walks.
Yeah, and then so that would be Jason Cinder, and
Not Schneider.
no, that's right. Always to be confused. So we did those 2 shows, and it was just to be kind of for fun. And I remember when I asked Blaine if he wanted to do it, and everyone was into it, but Blaine was like, "Well, I'm not going to fucking manage it. I already did that." He goes, "You can, book it and deal with all of it." And so I did, I booked a couple of shows.
Didn't he give you the box too? There was like a box of papers and stuff.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
He didn't give you the box.
No, but nobody was sure what we were doing, whether we were, all I remember is we did 2 shows.
That's the Accused.
As the Accused, and we played those shows.
And Blaine was on those shows.
Yep, and it was
And
Rock
Alex.
Candy,
Okay.
and they were cool, good shows.
Yeah.
I think I was at the Rock Candy one. So
Yeah, and then so through that, I was kind of reconnected with Tom, and so I would be running into him all the time, and then something happened, and I was just having a conversation with them, and they said that they had a problem, and they don't have a drummer now. So
Grunt Truck.
yeah, and he was thinking I was busy doing something else.
We did the Lemons tour right away then, right?
Yeah, no,
West-
not right away.
Oh, no?
No.
West Coast?
But Alex was in the band already, because he had been in there. And then I said, well, I'll try. I'll sit in there and see if we can do something. And I'll help. And I love, Jim.
Oh, we did Moe's probably.
Yeah, and then we did a couple shows, and then we did a shot EP. We did a couple different
Oh, that's
demos.
right. Jesus, I forgot about that. We opened for Scorpions.
Yeah, we drove up
Wow.
to
Yeah,
the
these
Gorge.
Scorpions?
Alice Cooper and the
and
Scorpions,
Alice
not
Cooper,
just
yeah.
Scorpions.
Oh, Alice Cooper too?
At
Yes.
the Gorge, man.
Oh.
At the Gorge.
Alice
Yeah, I
Cooper.
think I've seen pictures of Tommy with the snake around him.
Yeah, we're back there looking at the Scorpions off all their guitars with diamond-crusted headstocks on every little
We have
guitar.
video of that. Yeah, I took my video camera backstage.
Well, look at the diamond.
Michael Shankner wasn't there then,
No.
was he? No.
Do
he
you
was
know what
long
that
gone.
diamond on the headstock is for?
No.
The laser beam for the show, dude.
Oh,
Okay.
the rock show. Yep.
Well, I got it. Like I said, I like pop metal, and I thought the Scorpions were fabulous.
Oh,
okay, so that's
one of
what
the
you
best
call
German
pop
metal
metal.
bands ever.
All right, now I'm clear with what you think pop metal is. And there's no way Scorpions is pop metal. Come on.
That's heavy metal. Yeah. It's
Michael Shankner?
Michael Shankner was great.
She's a woman, he's a man? What the fuck?
No, that was Uli Roth played on that.
Okay, so
Is Uli Roth pop metal?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Dave?
More like gypsy metal or something.
Yeah, gypsy metal. That's the exact word I was going to use.
Time frame is crazy.
That's not trademark. You can feel free. Hi-yo!
Although I think I had a band, Gypsy Rose, on
Yes, you did.
Meltdown
Yes, you did.
too.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
yes, you did.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So let's. When did the falling out? So Alex went on to play with you guys. When did you and Alex have a falling out, or when did
I don't know. Depends on what you call a falling out. I don't know.
just not working together again?
He was. I'll tell you something that can fill in a little bit, not to do with his answer, but to do with what you're asking for.
It's a timeline.
There's a little more timeline stuff too. Yeah, like there was other couple bands before in between Grunt Truck and like.
Oh,
The Hot Rod
Remember-
Lunatics.
That's right. Lie.
Hot Rod
and-
Lunatics,
right.
Lie,
Hellcat.
Hellcat was the one I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's right.
See, there was, and then
Now you and Alex were both in Hot Rod Lunatics.
yeah, and that was right after Hellcat, which is a band they had. They did a couple shows, which was a really cool band.
Alex and I were in that band together.
With Chris
Yeah,
Kelly
Hellcat I
and
saw
Yes.
was a good band. Yes.
And who was the singer?
Was that
Jeff
at that-
Ramis.
God, I saw them at that King Cat Theater down. Did
Yeah,
you play
I think
there?
so. I think so.
Okay, yeah, I saw Hellcat at the King
Bramus
Cat.
was the singer.
Yeah, Jeff Ramis. Yeah, he sang.
That was
for
a
while.
good
I sang
band.
for a while, but when Jeff Ramis was in, it was a great band. 5-piece.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah, and see, so he was. You were still doing stuff with Alex,
Mhm.
and then I started playing with Alex, and that by that time Grunt Truck had stopped, hadn't it? Because we had done the
Lemons.
Lemons tour,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah, things were dissolving. I think at that point. Oh yeah, that we were in the middle of all the legal bullshit.
yeah, and so everything was fine
Yeah.
with everybody.
Personally,
But personally, and I think, and I'm not speaking for you, but Blaine wasn't around,
correct.
but Alex was involved with it. So there was a period in time when Alex was kind of on, not ever. I'm not speaking for anybody, but I don't think that Alex was on, playing with Tom in the Grunt Truck I don't
And
think-
Hellcat.
and Hellcat, and I don't think there. I remember Blaine wasn't real happy when, because when I was in the Accused, when I first got it, the young little punk in there. That's when I started noticing problems that they had with Tom, because they were telling me, that they were having problems with him and whatever it was. I was like too new, but in my newness, I was also going, well, I'm not really, I'm nobody, but I don't think I'm really into this.
If they're not all
If
getting
it's
along.
looking like this guy isn't going to be into it. I really thought, and I wasn't a fan of the Accused when I joined the band. I didn't know a lot about it. I'd heard of it and everything, but I didn't know much about it. So I was a good, unbiased, like, oh, I know that guy. You're going to do it. I just thought this guy seems like one of the most, prominent things. And it's the reason for me. And so then I didn't get approached anymore about, the problems with him, because I didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem with anybody doing anything as long as you can show up and do your job. There's gonna be fights,
Oh yeah, you've got to have fights, even baseball teams and football teams.
So I mean, I saw, real problems with Blaine and him in the beginning. I was never involved in it. I don't know what it was, but I know the Blaine.
Okay, so there was some early on issues. Okay, so I want to get back to this European tour and the trademark. So
Mhm. Yeah.
the European tour
Yeah.
went on, and
Yeah.
you were not in that band.
Right.
Um,
They had Andy Massey came in and played guitar.
Okay, were you all right with that European tour,
Uh,
or was that an issue to you?
I mean, I thought it was lame. I thought it was kind of stupid.
Did you express?
No.
Okay.
I just
okay.
was like, really, really, you're doing that?
Okay.
I told Andy when he got back. I saw him at the off ramp. I said, "Hey, Andy, how was the fucking Europe thing?" And he was like, "Oh, it was fucking tough, man. Some of those nights they really fucking wished you were there." And he goes, "But after a while, it got okay." I was like, "Fuck, man, good job." And he goes, "I hope you're not mad." And I said, "Fuck, no, dude. I would have taken the gig if I was you. Fuck yeah, that was a great opportunity to go to Europe, and fucking rock out, play good music." I said, "Hopefully they treated you okay. Those, Blaine and Alex treated you okay,
Okay, and then
And
so
everything was cool. Yeah,
now that's
with me and him anyway.
Okay,
Me and Andy.
so that tour was in the name of the Accused,
Yeah, they used the Accused when they were over there. Yeah,
and you were all
despite
right.
there being no original members in it. Yes, they did that.
Okay, and you were all right with that.
Well, I
You
wasn't
had-
all right with it, but I didn't contest it legally
you
or anything.
contested. Okay,
No, I was too busy doing other shit.
okay. Now, I believe it's shortly after, in the early 2000s, they started Toe Tag.
We got back together and recorded Oh Martha,
Okay.
which was around 2003 and 4. I think
Okay.
was when we started writing material for that, and then finally recorded 2004, something like that. It came out in 2005.
Yeah, because remember you called me and said, "Hey, we're going to put the." It was
Right. I tried to get him to drum,
Oh,
yeah, and the reformed version of it that we were trying
Alex
to.
and I had just basically had a falling out with Hot Rod Lunatics.
Right. And so
And
that
was my fault.
he was out then. Yeah.
That was my fault.
Okay,
So
so,
we
was
got-
that the last time you recorded with Blaine and Alex?
We got Steve O-Ring Nelson came back on drums and played on Oh Martha, and then we went down to San Francisco and did a couple shows with that version of that band. Played Portland, San Francisco, and Berkeley or something like that, and came back up. And then that was roughly the last time.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
last
No, well,
time.
that's when those guys quit. Yeah, they quit in 2005. The three of them took off.
Okay, and they
Yeah.
formed Toe Tag.
Yes.
Okay, which
Well, they had already, apparently, according to the Post, they had already formed Toe Tag while the Accused was still
in
you know,
action. Okay.
Yeah, the post that was on the message board, which is how I found out that they were quitting, the band message board on our website, stated that they had been toe tagged for several months before that statement was made. I don't recall the actual
Okay,
wording
and
of
then-
the statement, but yes.
And then Toe Tag's kind of a two-tiered band. It's Toe Tag and the Accused AD. Now, Toe Tag was playing Accused songs.
I don't know about that, but
Okay, but
Yeah.
when, at what point did,
I think they became Martha's Revenge.
Martha's Revenge,
Right.
which,
I heard about that through, I think it was maybe you or somebody told me about them running around doing calling it Martha's Revenge, playing a bunch of Accused songs. And I thought I said, you know what? That's a fucking really clever name for a band name to be doing that. I said, I approved of that wholeheartedly. I thought, gotcha. That's a good little gotcha. If I was on their side, I would have thought that was a good little gotcha. Oh, he's going to hate this. Martha's Revenge. We're going to call it Martha's Revenge. He's going to hate this. I didn't hate it. I thought it was very clever.
Yeah,
Very
it is.
clever.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's very clever for a tribute band,
okay, so you had no problem with Martha's Revenge.
Hell no. No, I thought it was great.
And shortly thereafter, I believe it worked its way into the Accused AD.
And then I was informed that they were calling it the Accused AD.
And that's when you had a problem.
Yes.
Okay. And so you have the 2019 trademark.
Mm-hmm.
Now going back to
filed for it in 2017, I believe. But
going back to the 2005 or 6
Mhm.
when you originally filed for it,
Mhm.
according to Blaine, he gave you band funds to do it, and he put some out of his pocket as well.
I don't.
So you don't recall
I
that.
don't recall.
What is it? What the weird thing I can't picture is there. When do we ever have band funds? Not we, but it's just a joke.
Well,
Okay.
right. There was no band account. There was no bank account. But yeah.
Okay, and then according to both Alex and Blaine, they thought they were getting an equal 25% share on the trademark. So you don't recall, any of that.
Well, there was a band agreement, a band.
Yeah, let's go over this band agreement.
Formal band agreement that I brought down to a rehearsal / meeting somewhere around the time we were doing the O Martha stuff. I don't know if it was before, probably right before we were recorded O Martha. And I just brought it down, a little 2-page thing that I customized, got it off the internet. It's just internal band agreement, they call it. And I presented that at rehearsal or at a meeting one day, and it was not accepted well. I handed everybody a copy, and I just said, you guys might want to just go over this and make sure everything looks good, and I think we should sign this just so we're all on the same page, literally as well as
So
figuratively.
tell me, I don't know this, and
Just essentially,
what was in the agreement?
it just essentially provided that we all had a stake in the everything that had to do with the Accused from then on out.
Okay, and nobody signed that, or
No.
that fell on, okay.
Yeah, it literally was thrown on the floor.
Okay, and going back, so have you've expressed to them, and I've seen it on the internet, and it's a big saga. I don't know if it's international, but in Washington State, there's two there's two Accused camps. There's Tommy's, and then there's Blaine's, it's kind of So you expressed to them that you did not want them using the name Accused AD.
You're right.
And what was their response?
I don't know that I don't know that that's something I'm going to discuss here.
Okay,
or
you
not.
don't have to.
Okay.
No, that's it.
All right.
Tommy takes the fifth.
I'm going to have to take the hit on that.
Yeah, there ain't no sixth though, Tommy.
No, I know. I may use that often depending on what your questions are now. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now Blaine, feels he went out of his way to separate it from the Accused by calling it the Accused AD, but you feel that's too similar.
Well, Dave, I don't feel that that's too similar.
What do you think?
The trademark law, the intellectual property laws, say that it's just too close.
Okay.
It's too deceptive. It's too close to the original name, especially with former members of that band.
Right.
Martha's Revenge.
Martha's Revenge would be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question, Josh, I'm totally neutral. I am a big fan of the Accused AD. As Tommy knows, I'm a huge fan of the Accused and everything Tommy does, but no, I'm remaining neutral.
And you're doing a great job, by the way, David.
And I let Blaine and Alex explain their side. I'm
and your crew are too.
letting you guys, explain your side.
Right.
And the public can make.
I think it's good that you're bringing this out because this is.
Well, I think it has to be
story.
addressed because
It's a long
it's
story.
damaging the history.
It's gas that needs to be farted.
Yeah, the Accused.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a bubble that needs to burst.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I would say, the Accused and the Accused AD are pretty historical, especially the Accused. And it is the feud, which is a word that, is probably not proper, but the disagreements are, in my opinion, are damaging to the historical nature of the Accused, which is, what I'm hoping to protect. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Well, so that's the intention of this.
the Accused. The Accused
legacy or whatever. Yeah. I mean, he was a big part of initiating
So
that.
yeah, let's step forward to the return of Martha Splatterhead.
Yeah.
Okay. This record is considered, and when I say considered, it's been voted as one of the 25 best thrash records of all time. That's a pretty incredible accomplishment.
Yeah.
And
That's an honor and a half to be considered that. Yeah, to be a
have
part
you
of
seen the
something.
books that say that? Yeah, you've seen them. Okay, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I was actually in Half Price Books, and I found this book on thrash, and I'm flipping through it. It's got the cover, up there,
Mhm.
and it said not only one of the top 25, thrash albums of all time. It also said one of the most influential and earliest thrash bands known. So, I mean, there's a history, and I've always really enjoyed Blaine, and I've always really enjoyed Tommy, and people do kind of look at both of them, and they and if
They have a good chemistry together.
they had a
Musically.
fantastic chemistry,
but not so good
Right.
chemistry personally.
Okay, so now Blaine and Alex, have also said that they wrote and contributed to a ton of the Accused songs, and they say they're not getting their fair share. How do you respond to that?
That's something that I would rather leave up to the lawyers.
Okay. And the lawyer won't be Sussman because he represented all of them. So
No, that would be conflict of interest. If we did that,
yes. Too bad because he's.
Sussman can be involved on their side. I don't know if they've got.
No, I don't. I think Sussman. Okay. Sussman's a fan of yours. He's a fan of Blaine's.
Okay.
He would.
So there would be conflict of interest.
Sussman.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know.
No, I don't need a lawyer. I mean, I've got my guys, but I'm just saying if Blaine needed one, I don't know.
And we've brought his name up a couple times. For those who don't know, Neil Sussman is the premier entertainment attorney from Seattle. I think that's the best. We don't have many of them.
No.
But he
likes to write a lot of zeros in little spots.
Yeah. And he doesn't put any digits in front of them. I'm just kidding.
You get a lot of
zeros.
nothing.
You get a
a whole
zeros.
bunch of nothing.
You know who I'm
No, he's a fantastic
Yeah.
negotiator, and he has protected so many Northwest bands.
Except for contract.
That's all.
Anyway.
Yeah, and this is more about the Accused.
Yes,
so
correct. Yeah.
We'll keep on the Accused.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay, so now these guys are still performing regularly as the Accused AD and all that.
Mhm.
I've seen and heard, but have you actually taken legal action against them?
I'm going to have to, I can't really discuss that.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, David. I know that's not a lot to go on.
The,
but
yeah, we have to give you a sign,
I know,
number
I know.
5, the 5th.
It's just certain things.
No, that's totally
isn't the
fine,
venue for
and,
that,
and things that are going to be taken in a courtroom
It's just-
or
yeah, it's-
with when lawyers are involved,
Yeah.
you have to let the lawyers do the
Right.
talking.
Yeah.
Okay. So where can you say where this is all at today?
Right. Unfortunately, it's where it is. You know, it seems like
It's out of your control.
It is really out of my control. It really is. It's just, it's a legal matter. You know.
Now,
And, I don't see at this point, but I don't see it ending well for certain people.
that's one of my questions was how do you see this?
But what does that mean, ending well? Because
Right.
really, it only would not end well for somebody if they just had to stop doing what they want to do.
Right.
I would say it would be cool if everybody could just say what they want, and you know, because
I can tell you.
you
what I
should
want.
say it.
I want them to stop using the name The Accused in any manner.
Okay.
You know, any version of it. You know, The Accused Purple, The Accused AD, The Accused 1973. Can't use it. You can call it Martha's Revenge, call it Toe Tag, play all the old Accused songs you want. I don't care. Fart songs, 10 Minute Warning, whatever. Just you can't use the 2 words The Accused in your band. I know there's other bands running around there doing that in the state. There's new Accused bands every 3 months or so. I go online and I check, and there's some kids in Nantucket have formed a little garage punk band and called it The Accused for whatever reason. Thought it was available or whatever. It's not. You know, the trademark is not available. It hasn't been. You know, for a long time. I mean, I could have not applied for it, let somebody else apply for it, saw that they were applying for it, and did you use it before 1983? Nah, see, now I did. You know, I used it in '83.
So you don't
come
have
on.
a problem with them using the songs
No.
and doing whatever they want.
No.
You just don't want them to use the name The Accused.
Right.
Attach something
It's
or
been
whatever.
misleading. You know, it's because I've seen that it's been misleading people. You know, there's kids or fans or whatever in some state somewhere, Maryland, wherever, thinking they're going to see The Accused, and they're not. You know, that's the whole reason behind trademark, law as well, is to hopefully keep the consumer from being confused.
Okay.
And that's not even Blaine and Alex doing that. You know,
A lot of times it's promoters. Promoters either
I see
knowingly or not knowingly, maybe forgetting to put on the AD on there. You know, making an emphasis on the AD part.
From a fan's perspective.
It
Okay, and I
happens,
would definitely say the Accused AD, they definitely sound different than the Accused. There's no
That's
question.
what I've heard. Yeah.
They're similar, but it's different. And I mean, the reason they're similar is because Blaine's vocal style,
Mhm.
at least for me, is always going to be synonymous with the name The Accused. And
Well, yeah, they were a cover band when they started, and as Martha's Revenge, and then, but a cover band doesn't put out a whole new album's worth of new material, and still, you know what I mean?
Do you know whose idea it was to call their name The Accused AD? Who came up with that name, Accused AD?
I do not know, but I would guess Blaine and Alex.
Well,
or at least-
isn't one of these metal bands called something AD?
Oh,
running
yeah,
around?
yeah. Or Venom Incorporated.
Right, Venom
Oh, is it AD maybe?
Yeah, no,
I
it's
don't know.
it's like one of those metal
and
bands.
there's lots of
Craft
other
metal
bands
bands.
that have this same problem where they've split into 2 bands.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
It is
it's-
common. It is a common.
It's
thing.
becoming very common, and
Right.
it's becoming very common for these punk bands 30 years later to get back together,
Mhm.
which I think is cool, but
Mhm.
it is kind of shocking.
It would be nice. It would be nice, but
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, you guys are never getting back together.
I can't say never.
Okay,
I-
good.
Well,
Good.
it's not coming from this side.
Yeah, no, I don't say never.
We'd be into it.
Okay, so
But those guys don't want to. Those guys don't want to do it. They don't hate me, and I don't know if they hate anybody. But I don't think they want to. I don't think they ever want to do it.
I think
Well-
Alex likes playing guitar too much.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Alex is a phenomenal guitar player and also a great bass player. And he
He's
pretty
the
much
best
always.
fucking bass player there is.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
always played
Yeah.
bass. Like bass was with the Accused. Did he play bass? Grunt Truck, was he bass or guitar?
Bass.
Alex is the best bass player I ever played with. To this day.
There you go. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when I see the Accused AD,
He's a great guitar player, but when you play drums with a bass player that's good, I play with him. He's
okay. Well, yeah, I have to agree with you. He's a pretty skilled musician.
He doesn't. There's no missing the fucking anything. He's fucking slapping you. He's slapping the audience in the face the whole time. You know, just kicking your ass. Look at those videos, man. I love playing with this guy.
I do look at the
I would
videos,
be so
yes.
pumped if I could play with him on guitar and Alex on bass. That's the best fucking music.
Okay,
right
so
there.
you guys aren't saying never.
No.
Okay, all right. I thought that door was closed, so I think that's a fabulous because I would love to see you two and Tommy and Blaine
be
perform. I mean, Alex and Blaine perform.
I think people would come.
There's been outside parties that have tried to, that have offered that.
Yeah, I'm one of those outside
Yeah.
parties. I've been pushing it for years.
Yeah.
And when I realized I wasn't going to get anywhere,
Yeah.
I wanted to do this and
Cool.
see if we can get this
Well,
out in the open. And
As a fan's perspective is like, you want to see that band together. I mean, it would be great, but it doesn't have to be either that band's together or there's two camps. That's what I don't like as a fan either.
Oh, right. No, right. Fans should be able to enjoy both bands.
And the old stuff and
Right,
the new band.
right,
There's room
correct.
enough for everybody in Seattle.
Correct,
And
yeah,
they even
yeah.
played the gig together. The one, with
Yeah.
PRI or something.
Yeah,
I
they-
Toe Tag's
Toe
played
Tag,
with
yeah.
the Accused.
Yeah, that was great. Because it was Toe Tag.
It
Call
was
It was
different.
really weird listening to because they played right before us, and it was weird listening to Blaine go. And next up is gonna be The Accused.
Yeah, that was weird.
I wish I didn't go to
And then
that
he came
one.
out and saw me, and he goes, "Hey, aren't you the drummer from Tag?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
All right, so now The Accused.
Mm-hmm.
You're still doing stuff with the
Yeah.
Accused.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is you're there as a studio or a touring drummer anytime he needs.
Well, I don't know if that's what it is. I mean, sure, you could say
We'll give you 19%.
19%.
But you are still part of the Accused or you're
Well,
part of
I don't know what's going on with The Accused right now. It's not. It's really so. For the record, I don't think this is like. We're not sitting here trying to plan.
an
all this
Accused,
stuff.
right?
Right.
This interview is encompassing the past,
Past,
mostly.
right?
And it's
I-
like we're trying to forge this new thing. These guys need to stop because we're trying to do. It's nothing like that. There's something like right now. Tom and I are doing something with the singer from Pa. I don't
Is
know
that
if
the Water
a
Ghost?
band.
No, that's
Oh.
right. Yeah, Primitive Race.
It's a
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's good. It's good shit. Guy from Paw, the singer from Paw, Mark Hennessy,
Yeah.
and a gentleman named Chris Niker, Kniker, is on the bass, and he's tapped both Josh and I now to, and it's good. It sounds. I mean, I think it sounds like
No, I'm looking forward to it.
It's a grunge band. It's real
It's
similar
grunge,
to the grunt
essentially.
truck stuff.
yeah. Any fan of grunt truck might like this shit.
And when you guys practice, these guys come in wearing Nikes, drinking Hennessy.
Hey, maybe.
So I that one I was aware of, and that one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it could be some good shit. Yeah.
And I know,
So you have to ask him what he's doing.
yeah.
with
Well,
Accused right now.
so I know. So I'm going to ask you guys some of the other musical things you're doing,
Mhm.
but in your vision, Tommy,
Yeah.
what is the future of The Accused?
Well, it's wide open.
Wide open, but
Yeah.
it's not done, right?
No.
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 Okay.
No.
Okay.
There's
And-
a lineup with him and John Dolan.
Yeah, John
And Andy
Darlene is
Carroll.
John Darlene is going to be. We're going to record some stuff with
With
him.
him.
Like I was saying, maybe redo some of the old stuff off of the Murder in Montana LP and the Split LP. Re-record a couple of the hits off of there, but with Brian on good.
That's what, my next. So, in my
Second
understanding,
guitar.
Brian's
Yeah.
working with you as
Yeah,
well.
and Andy Carroll. from
I've always
Watch Your
been a
Cry.
big fan of Brian's, as he knows.
Yeah.
Um,
and John
yeah.
singing.
And let's take a little side detour too. I'd like to talk about the Accused art.
Mhm.
You've done pretty much all of it,
Mm-hmm.
except for this,
Oh,
which is
not all of it. No, that's that. Now that.
well, I'm grinning like an
Yeah, I didn't do Grin. I didn't do Grinning. I didn't do hymns. I didn't do.
Casey Angel did.
But you've
Mad
done
Stories. Yeah, I've done a bunch. A lot of
tons.
Yeah, a lot of the
tons,
T-shirt stuff. I mean,
And when I did
the original Martha.
so I originally put this out like this. It was actually supposed to be black and white, right?
Yeah, I think.
And we got the blueprint back, We didn't know anything about records. Like, this looks good, but why is it blue? And they're like, oh, it's not blue. And we're like, well, that's how we want it.
Yeah.
So we did this, and then I knew the Accused were going to take off, and I wanted to get. I hired a very professional artist to do kind of a tribute to Tommy's art.
Yeah,
and
that was amazing. When I first saw that, David, I was like, wow. I mean, that's like seeing. I don't know, man. Martha was my baby. You know, I mean, my creation from since the beginning, and to see her in that version, I just about cried, dude. That was like, wow.
And that cost me $4,000. But I knew. I knew there's nothing wrong with this cover.
Yeah,
I just knew we had to bring it up a notch. And when I did this,
in the 80s, and everyone's big visual stuff.
Right. Well, it's like overhauling. You know, when that show Overhauling, when you take your shitty car in and they really fucking fix it up and tits it out.
Right.
That's what that was like, man.
Yeah.
It was like the reveal was like,
because it's good. Because of the blood, it's excellent.
I have also seen in magazines or other places. I've seen this rated as one of the 50 best album covers of all time.
Well, that's
so,
pretty killer. Yeah. There you go.
I myself think outside of Iron Maiden, it is the best album cover. Yeah, it's pretty hard to touch that Iron Maiden.
They were a huge influence, though, or inspiration.
Well, yes,
obviously.
Martha's kind of like a spin-off, a female version of Eddie, comical and satirical.
Yes, no argument there.
And it was a great concept.
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Okay. So the Accused are not done. It's, the pandemic and all that, slowed a lot of things down.
No pandemic.
Fuck that thing!
Yeah, it's time for it to be over.
Bless that thing.
We promised we would not, all the lawyers can talk about the pandemic.
Yeah.
Bam, that's a bam.
No, the one thing I can say is I've done a bunch of these on the couch interviews with a mask on, and I'm very happy to.
I bet.
Yes, it's exciting to. Well, you can't see the smiles, expressions. It's like
this whole thing's horrible.
I feel sorry for people who, deaf people who are reading lips
right.
and they can't communicate anymore.
Those poor bastards.
I mean, they're very
about that.
How do you read lips with a mask?
I don't know.
Okay, so now prior to COVID, and you guys were about to take off and all. You guys were about to do something with a band called Water Ghost.
Oh yeah, we were doing that,
and that was you and Josh,
and Brian.
Oh, I didn't realize Brian was part of that too. Okay, well, Brian, why don't you tell us a bit about Water Ghost and what it was going to be, and it's still coming, right?
Yeah, we play with it. We get together and do things with it. Move it around a little, redecorate it. Then
we
put
got
it
a bunch
away.
of drum tracks now. And guitar parts just change.
It's like an ongoing kind of side project.
Fun thing. They're creating a side project.
I'm really looking
heavy. It's like real heavy, and I would say it's a mixed. It's a thrash grunge band. We do real grungy, slow down stuff that's real kind of creepy, and then we do some super power speed shit.
So no, I was really looking forward to it, and I did an interview with Tommy, I think about 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
we were talking Water Ghost, and then
I remember when you first saw him.
That's
a picture of you with Zoli and
on the sidewalk there somewhere.
There's there's some Water Ghost on YouTube.
Tommy and I on P.I.G Records, we recently.
Yes, we did.
Yes. Why don't you tell us about this?
Well, this is
pretty historical.
Yeah, this was the 83, the very busy year of 1983. We did this. It's a recording of a show that the Accused did. John Belline on vocals, Dana on drums, Chewie on bass, me on guitar. We went out to Missoula, Montana, thanks to our friend and pen pal of Chewie's named Jeff Ament.
From Pearl Jam.
You may recognize the name.
No, never heard of him.
He lived in Missoula, and Chewie had been a pen pal of his, which is when you write people back and forth and send tapes and letters.
Oh, he was tape trading with him.
Tape trading, yeah, with Jeff.
Deranged Diction.
Who was in a band called Deranged Diction out of Missoula, Montana.
Yes.
And
I did get to see Deranged Diction.
Oh, yeah, they were great. Yeah, when they moved out here.
Yeah, they were good.
So he said, please come play Missoula because we're the only punk band out here and we need, there's a small scene out here. We'd love to have you and the Rejectors come out. And so he booked a show for us at the local Cowboy Bar down there in Missoula in 1983. And that's where this recording is from.
Now, was that your first show out of state?
No.
Okay,
I think we had played.
Oh yeah, you toured with
San Francisco and maybe even Canada before that. Yeah, Victoria.
But this
is it. Yeah, the historical document that was that night is this. And Jeff was the promoter of the show.
That's some interesting tidbits.
Yeah, that's a little trivia for you.
And this record,
it's raw,
It recently came out. It is very raw,
Good stuff.
but it
I did do
documents,
the cover. I drew the cover.
which is the artwork's great. I was actually thinking of getting the skateboard tattooed on my arm or somewhere.
Yeah.
It's either that or a Martha tattoo. 'Cause-
And the shirts you had made, David, are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Those shirts.
Yes,
Those are fantastic.
from the DNA project over in Indonesia.
Yeah, those guys do. Look at that. I mean, that's high quality.
And they're going to be doing a grunt truck shirt as well.
We're talking about that. That's right. Yes.
And,
I gotta get that art to you. Yes.
Yes, we're waiting on Tommy to get the art.
Sorry, I forgot. I would have.
God
brought
damn
it. I
you,
would have
Tommy!
brought it. I forgot. You got to give me these. It's never a bad thing to constantly remind me.
I'm like you. We get so wrapped up in so many
and
things.
I don't write shit
and
down
it's-
anymore.
So
Yeah, exactly.
okay,
I'll get it to you.
all right. Josh, I want to go to Tad for a minute. One of my favorite grunge bands, and can you just share a couple stories about Tad? And I'm assuming most people watching this know who Tad is, but tell them who Tad is in case they don't, and tell us. I mean, Tad was a phenomenal band and sold a lot of records.
I don't know.
Oh, I know. They sold a lot of records.
There was a Tad is a
What's his last name?
Doyle.
Thank
Thomas A. Doyle.
Thank you.
He currently owns a recording studio in, I think it's in Olympia?
Nope, he's in Skyway.
Skyway, okay.
Skyway Renton.
Really nice guy, too.
Yeah, Witch 8. Is it Witch? No, it's something Witch.
Yeah, and I was briefly talking to him about putting his wife's band on my label, but it never came to be. But yeah, so how long did you play with Tad?
I got into the girl that I knew. I knew this girl who knew Susan Silver, and she told me that
I used to work for Susan. Yes,
and she told me you should send your demo tape to Susan Silver and blah 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 blah. See where that gets you. So I did. I went and I called up Jack and Dino and I recorded this little demo and then I took the cassette down to Susan with a little bio, and then it wasn't a couple months later or whatever, a month later, I got a call from Kurt Danielson, the bass player from Tad, that she gave my number, and then I went and tried out, and they gave me the job.
Was Susan managing Tad?
I replaced Ray Washam, the drummer from Scratch Acid.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like one of the best drummers.
Rabbit Cat Records.
So I got the job over you, and a couple of times he came in while we were recording, and Kurt said, he goes, he's our old drummer, and there's our new drummer. And he was like, he would say funny stuff like that. And I'd be like, is that awkward?
Is that awkward?
We were actually recording the Salem EP, and he showed up to that, and that was at that House of Leisure. That was a great place.
Yeah.
And then that burned down with Molotov. Someone threw a Molotov in the back window through the alley.
Yeah,
That's where they recorded Push, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Part of
No, we mixed. Or no,
You did something there.
something there. Yeah,
Because it was all his stuff. What's his name?
Gary King.
Gary King.
Yeah, Gary King. You know Gary King, right?
Yeah.
That was the first recording I did with Tad. We did actually it was a Pushead artwork cover of Tad as a Dracula, and it was at this Electric Eel Studios. I don't know if you ever knew that place. Just did some weird stuff, all these 8-track and things, and so I got in there through Susan Silver.
Was Susan managing Tad?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, but she was offering, help to the band, and then she got us a manager that ended up ripping us off. That was working out of her office. He stole all of our money for like 1 year. At the end of the year, we had no money. It was Christmas.
So he's a multi-billionaire.
His
now.
name is Perry Feigenbaum, and he stole a bunch of money from us, and it was really fucked up.
Yeah.
And I can't get into the details of it, but anyway, Tad was great. And they all loved the Accüsed. We tried to play shows with the Grunt Truck. We never did one Grunt Truck show.
We didn't not do Pain in the Ground or that the Neural Amplitude.
No, I was just there.
Oh, okay.
Just
You
I
weren't-
remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
so we brought out a baseball card with, or I guess they're rock cards, but
Oh, that's right.
with Blaine and
Oh, you got
Alex.
Grunt Truck ones too, don't
Yeah, the
you?
box.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we showed the Grunt Truck one when we were interviewing Alex.
Yeah, the Accused one has Andy on it, I think, right?
Yeah, I asked him about that because I'm like,
That's
who
cool.
are these people?
Well, at least Andy got a card, right? You know,
And, so
That was crazy. Yeah.
this is you, right?
Oh wow!
The one with
See,
the
that's the
short
second generation. I got another card, and we're sitting on a bench in Pioneer Square.
oh, a different series.
Yeah, different series. Oh,
You don't have this one?
Is it the
No.
Gold Parallel?
Well, you're lucky. I think I have 2 of these. So I'll let you.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you for laughing.
That was the bomb shelter video, Frank.
Yeah,
Frank.
dude. Then we went and toured with Soundgarden, and we got kicked off the Nirvana tour because Tad said that Courtney Love was a bitch and Melody Maker. We had the In Utero tour, all shows.
What's a fact is a fact.
In Utero, all shows. And so I was like, at that point, I was like, no, and I was just a drummer, but I was feeling lucky, you know, and I was just like, we were driving around, you know, at parties, and the radio would come on, and it would say, Nirvana, the Coliseum with Tad, and, you know, and then the big monster truck voice.
Yeah, right.
You
So
know,
what was the-
driving down the road just going,
Yeah,
so how are you? Who? What?
right.
Soundgarden
Yeah,
Nirvana.
right.
What was the biggest audience you played in front of?
The biggest audience I played was definitely, what do you call that in Milwaukee? Summerfest.
Summerfest. How many would
I
you
think
guess?
it was 30,000,
Wow.
something like that. One of those stadium things where it's 20 feet between you and the first
That must
row of
feel
people.
great.
That was the most not pleasing.
It's hard to rock
It
30,000
really
people.
is. And
Yeah,
I was
it's not
way
better than
back
small
here, and
room.
Tad was way up there, and it was
so
like
it's
everyone-
odd.
Yeah.
you don't rock very hard.
All of a
for
sudden,
those
you have
shows.
all that stage to fill, and you have
Yeah.
no fucking show to go,
Yeah.
no lights to distract. You know,
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah.
5,000 is great.
I'll say- I'll tell
5,000
you.
little,
Yeah,
area
little mini
between it,
theaters.
You can still
Yeah,
feel the
right.
Yeah,
Anything
Since
over
we're
6.
talking about great shows, I'm going to tell you my 2 best shows that I ever played. And I can't. It's one of these 2. OK Hotel. 90.
Famous Seattle club.
Yeah, like around 90. It was The Accused, and Monty from Grunt Truck, or Monty from Roadrunner Records.
Oh, Monty
Came down. He was looking. He wanted to see the show, but he was here to sign Grunt Truck. He came to the show. You remember me talking to him after that show?
Mhm.
And because at that show, everything got knocked over multiple times. Like my drums, he was knocked into my drums once. He just got knocked over and knocked my shit over, so we put it back up. We kept trying to play, but it started getting so crazy for a couple of months in the slam situation in Seattle that
The
it was
pits,
like you
yeah.
got ready to have your drum set knocked over while you're playing.
Every
It
time.
happened like 3 or 4 times at Seattle shows. And then there was the Ballard Firehouse.
Oh man! When they broke all those windows,
They
out
kicked all the windows out,
Oh, yeah.
and there was people
punked.
flying everywhere off the stage. I mean, it
there.
was
The
just,
crowd was just so drunk and so early,
and
so
they were
early
all
on.
out in the streets. There was
Yeah.
there wasn't enough room for everybody to get in the show.
Right, so there's like 200.
So they
people
started
outside.
breaking windows.
Yeah,
It was great.
that was
That's
crazy.
Now you see that. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, that was a pinnacle of what was going on.
Yeah, Rob Miser was one of the guys who was really instrumental in Something Outside. That
Was he?
Oh,
yeah. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
Come on, tell the Tad Rock Candy story, Josh.
What's that?
Or no,
The Rock. Oh, the King Cat.
the one up in Capitol Hill.
Oh.
The one that was Oz or something like that.
Oh,
I
what?
think it's I think Tommy's right. The King Cat Theater down on 6th Ave.
Oh, the Tad and Nirvana,
Yeah.
the Mia Zapata show.
Yeah, I was at that one. Yes.
Oh, you were there?
I was there. Yeah.
Because it was a Tad show, and
I went to many Tad
but
shows.
we
I
knew
really
that
liked them.
it was a surprise Nirvana show.
Yeah, I had no idea. When I went, I
And
had
then they
no
call
idea. Nirvana.
KSW. So there's like 100 people, and it's showtime. So
Right.
that's how many people are coming.
Right.
You know, big King Cat Theater. We got 100 people, and they announced it on KSW, and the fucking entire city was there. I mean, Alex and Slayer Hippie came. I talked to them at that show, but I mean, that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen ever in my life. And then I watched Courtney Love in a fight with Tad's girlfriend backstage, and they knocked over a lamp, and it was one of these old kind of lamps, and the lamp broke, the bulb broke and caught the rug on fire, and the rug went up and started this thing. It
Classic.
started to fire up a drape, and they were pulling each other and fighting in the back, because Tad's girlfriend was basically, drunk.
I would-
Similar to Courtney Love. They were similar.
It will never happen, but I'd
I
love
don't
to
know if
get
she's
Courtney
drunk.
Love on this couch. 'Cause, I hear so many wild stories about her. So
Yikes. Yeah.
okay, so all right, and
But not that is just some and then those guys played, man. It was so incredible. But I mean, the funness of you're just a kid and you're basically doing the biggest shit in the world right now, you know, and you're just having fun. You don't even know it, but like now I get people. My mom took photos of that show, that King Cat Theater. She has like probably 50 photos of Kurt Cobain, all of their set, and you can see Dave.
Well,
Grohl.
she should have been photographing your set.
She did. We got photos of that too. But then there's some people have video footage, and I guess there's a website just for that show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And the people,
I'd like you. Can you get that to us? Because we'll put that on the screen so people can see it.
yeah, and they keep asking me for all these photos because I released them in a book. Remember that book I did where I put myself?
Yeah.
There's a book. This is funny. I want.
This is a great story. Yeah.
Because I as a drummer, you know, nobody wants to put a photo of you in a book, or nobody wants to talk about you in the book. They don't want to ask you about what happened, but you were there. You saw it too. Anyway, so I got my one chance. This guy calls me. He goes, "Hey, I'm doing an interview.
I'm doing a grunge book.
I'm doing a grunge book. It's a Nirvana book, and I want to get and I'm talking to all the people that nobody talked to. So basically, I'm talking to the drummers and the bass players. And it's fucking, so I tell him all this stuff. He said, send me a photo of you, and he said, you know, make sure you, because you know, I want to give you
Credit.
give you a prop
Oh, I see.
or whatever.
Right.
And so I sent this photo of myself, a great photo of me playing drums, big, and then I put little photos, insets of, it was at the show, and the little photos of Nirvana in the corner. And he put that photo twice in the book. It's in the first page, a big picture of me.
Do you know the name of the book?
Yeah, it's called All My Friends Are Here.
All My Friends Are Here, and who's the author?
I'll tell you his name. He would probably kill me for not knowing it. He's such a good guy. It's on the tip of my tongue, his name. I'll get you the information.
Okay, yes, please get us.
There was a picture of you without a symbol in front of you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the first time ever. Yeah.
And of course, my mom had to take the photo because she would be the only one that would actually take a photo of trying to get the drummer.
I wish your mom was right here.
Or Childs. Yeah.
Jerry Childs.
Yeah. Jerry Childs.
And Brian, so I would say, what's the biggest show you've ever played? But I'm wondering, did you guys ever not get kicked out of a club?
Oh, yeah. Lots of
I'm
times.
just, you know, what's your
Fuck, they
biggest
toured
show?
with Cockney Rejects, and that I'm just for.
Oh, man.
I am so jealous of that.
Yeah, that would be good tour.
That was one of my favorite bands ever. And he tells me they did shows, and I was just like, really? Fucking, when did I miss that? And that fucking happened.
Yeah, they weren't one that were on my radar. I'd heard of them, but then you go out.
So
I never
much of that.
I never studied bands before we go out with them, and
Yeah.
we were on had the same booking agent and stuff, so we'd get these bands, and I knew Battalion of Saints and Dead Kennedys and stuff, but Cockney Rejects. Wow, first night I was like, oh, these guys are good. But when we did a Dead Kennedys tour, and we
So
did,
you guys opened for the Dead Kennedys.
yeah, 4 dates down the coast, and we get to San Francisco, and it's the Regency Ballroom.
Such a great scene.
Yeah, even Ray comes up and goes, this is the first time, this is the biggest show we played in our hometown.
Really?
You know? So, yeah, the Classic Theater. And I think it held 8,000, 5,000, somewhere around that. So by the time we played, there was 3,000. You know, there was a few people there. And so that's the biggest show I remember playing, because you get the barrier between
The barricade.
You know, like I say, it's...
You guys played to like the biggest audience down at the Dead Baby Bike Festival.
Fuck, those are big.
People were on, because I remember the Insurgents played. We were playing on the back of this truck, and you were standing up there. There was nobody there.
Yeah,
us.
that's weird.
And I walked over on your stage. Everybody was there. You guys had a great show.
Good stage, yeah.
I mean, the whole fucking city.
Yeah, and there'd be 3 bands going at once too, so it
Yeah.
would be kind of. Sometimes you have to. It's like
That was at the
shoot or
height
something.
of the 13 Scars movement.
Oh no, not the Dead Babies,
movement.
but you know, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Time frame.
Are they still doing Dead Baby Bike? Have you ever been to Dead Baby?
I believe they still do it.
It stopped
I think
last
it only
year.
stopped because of the word we're not supposed to use. The pandemic.
But it's not because of that. It's because of the.
Bam.
Yeah.
No, I think that's why the
How
Dead
the
Babies
government.
stopped.
It's how the government reacted to the pandemic. It's not the pandemic itself.
That's right.
But okay,
100%.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we're on it.
That's splitting hairs.
What was your most memorable show, Tommy?
Well, the biggest one was.
Oh my God.
Probably what? The biggest one was probably that Hemp Fest that we did a few years
wow.
back.
I was at that one. I
Yeah.
think I still have the poster
Yeah,
downstairs.
they said they did an overhead grid with like a drone or something, and it counted the people per grid, and it was maybe 100,000 or something.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah.
I was
That's a lot
one of
of
them, and let me tell you, I came down there specifically
Oh,
to
yeah.
see them,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult even getting within the vicinity. I mean,
There's a lot of
I
people-
could hear them.
Yeah.
I didn't bring my binoculars. I couldn't see them. I was
Right.
so far back because it was just
Yeah, we had no idea because
it was a sea of people.
Yeah, until maybe I don't really.
And they were
look
all
out
high.
very often. Yeah, and they're all, and it was middle of the afternoon. So
Yeah, and
bright,
it's blazing
sunny day.
hot,
yeah.
too.
Yeah, so I finally look up about halfway through the first song, and I look, and I'm like, "Holy fuck!" And I just look back down, and I was like, "Let me grip that for a minute." Okay, I looked again. Oh, they're still all there.
And
Yeah, just for as far as you can see. Yeah,
and when you guys played Hemp Fest, marijuana was still illegal, right?
yeah, at that time,
Yeah.
it was on the verge, getting,
Yeah, it was on the verge because I know the Dehumanizers played the next year, but it wasn't the same feeling because it had been legalized.
Right.
It
Yeah.
did kill Hempfest, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, eventually,
Yeah.
it slowed
Yeah,
down.
Hemp Fest is still going, but
Yeah, yeah.
but what the Hemp Fest was really for people like us really special when marijuana was illegal and they said for a weekend, hey, you guys can all do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah, that was the biggest show. And most memorable, they're all good. Anytime you get on stage is a good
How about
time.
the Pantera?
All those Pantera shows, yeah, amazing. Touring with
Amazing
those
band.
guys.
I would
yeah.
say to me, that if, as an outsider, that seems like it would be one of the.
so that's what
Yeah.
I would call a pop metal band. The first 4 records by Pantera.
No,
Power or whatever.
No,
Power metal.
pop metal.
yeah, nobody knows those existed.
Maybe it would be Pop Your Cherry metal.
And they were damn good. I thought they were damn good like that. And then I was kind of shocked when they had it out as a drastic.
Oh, you
Oh, the
Glam
projects.
Metal.
Oh, the projects in the
yeah, the
jungle.
glam metal.
Yeah,
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 all right,
the glam
okay,
metal.
right,
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you guys want to sing to your fans.
To the fans, thank you for your continued support. Yeah, and your patience and understanding during this time of crisis.
Okay.
Um,
And
hopefully,
anything.
hopefully this clears up some misconceptions about some things that have been
Did
spoken.
either of those guys say anything about whether they are hardlined with what they
what they want.
want? Are they saying it's never going to happen?
Playing with Tommy.
Right.
I don't believe they said that.
Just curious. Don't
no,
get
It's
the
probably inferred, but it's probably
Well, it
never
feels-
been stated.
Yeah.
They did say they would like to keep doing the Accüsed AD and they're gonna keep at it and they're gonna keep at toe tag. So, but
I just wonder why not just do it with the people that could make the most out of it. It would be the best for the fans.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
definitely
mean?
not treating the fans well to go out there and represent yourself as a cut rate version of the real thing. That's not doing the music any good. That's not getting your value
Well,
for your
and-
dollar. It's also really confusing people and diluting the trademark and diluting the good name of the accused.
okay, and so this is a good time. My final question was, do you guys have anything to say to Alex and Blaine? Which
Yeah.
I think you just said it. So
Yeah, I think they should say whether they're hardlined or because
hardlined about playing with Tommy again.
Yeah, like just at this point, because life changes. But I'm just curious. I'm not trying to say you should ask them and see what they want. I'm just wondering what they really think, and then if they're going to go and they want to do all that stuff. I mean, that's really not my business to say.
Okay.
It's between him.
So you want it for the you want it for the
I just would
camera.
like to hear him say.
But I mean,
Because-
I'm not going to go and start Tad AD or all the bands that I've been in and made great contributions to. I don't feel like because you know what I mean. It's just my personal opinion with bands, all bands. Whoever started the band owns that band, has the right to keep that band going. And if everybody quits, the people that came in later can't take the band. And I've seen it happen before. People do that. They come in and they take the band that was started by somebody else. As long as the guy doesn't mind that you took his band. I think, didn't that happen in Pink Floyd or something?
It happens a lot.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, Roger Waters. It also happened with the Queens, right? Because our local version of it, they had a big
Yeah, I've seen
dispute
some of
about
that,
the
too.
name. And
Now Mick and Keith and Steven Tyler and Joe Perry and these guys hate each other too. But when you're making
I just think that, I don't know, it seems like to me as a fan that that the best thing with that band is if Blaine and Tommy play together.
well,
So-
I was one of the outside parties who actually came and tried to
Do that.
be
okay, so
bumped
Tommy,
off.
if they
yeah.
can't, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If
If
Blaine and Alex came to you and said,
If
"Hey,
P- yeah, if
maybe
Pig's-
we'd like to put this back together,"
I'll bite. I'll bite. If pigs suddenly grew wings and flew, and those guys asked me that, yeah, because it would be about as likely. But yeah, I would have to consider it.
Do a show. You know, you do something like you just do a show.
But it would have to be considered. It wouldn't just be, because there's issues. I'm telling you, I approach these guys with a way that, hey, you don't need to talk to each other. We're gonna have this gear here. That's how I approached it. It wasn't just like
that's how
can we get
Iron
you back
Maiden did
together.
it.
Yeah, and Slayer did that. Separate bus, separate tour buses and stuff like that. That's kind of. I mean, if that's as good as it can get, then that's what.
I look at the back of the Iron Maiden records, and every single guy recorded not only in a different studio but in a different country.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any dispute there, but
Post Clive Burr.
Right. I'm a big Iron Maiden fan, I'm not a fan once they got that like 7th guitar player. They got like 6 guitar players on stage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the.
The live show is still one of the best ever.
Yeah.
They got a big.
Just get rid of the one guy who does all the guitar twirls.
It's not even plugged in, Josh. He's just there.
Oh yeah, like prop. Yeah. All right. So is that it?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Fitz.
Which one? Band? Yeah.
No,
I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I'd like to tell Blaine and Alex to get back. Just wear the fucking mask. Just wear the fucking mask.
All right.
Get vaccinated.
Yeah, no, Jesus.
Oh no,
sweet Jesus.
No, I like just wear the damn mask.
Yeah,
surgeons do it.
Yeah, right.
He's not Josh Schneider. He's Josh Cinder. Drummer extraordinaire from the state of Washington. Couple big bands, Cad, Accused,
Show and Tell.
Show and Tell.
My grandfather was a Mason.
Your mom couldn't be here today.
My grandmother was an Eastern Star.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thomas Niemeyer. I told you I'd mess it up. Thomas Niemeyer.